Before we understand what happened after 2013, we first need to understand what happened before then and why that specific year became a turning point in the club's history. Let's take a sweet little trip back in time with Manchester United. After Sir Matt Busby took over the footballing reins of the club on October 1st, 1945, he managed to place United on the map of English and European football during the 50s and 60s. He built a golden generation for United, winning 13 trophies, including 5 league titles and the first ever European Cup for any English team in 1968. After retiring in 1971, the club entered a dark spiral, getting relegated to the second division in 1974. And although they returned quickly, they couldn't restore their old glory and failed to win any major trophies. Then came 1986, and more specifically November 6th, a day that would change Manchester United's modern history forever. That was the day Alex Ferguson, the Scottish League champion with Aberdeen and Scotland's World Cup manager in 1986, took charge of the Red Devils. And when I say took charge, I don't just mean tactically. I mean he controlled everything, from setting the club's budget, scouting and negotiating with players, to personally handling contracts and even club-to-club transfers. At the time, the club was in a dire state. Not just poor results, but player discipline and lifestyle were disastrous. For example, the club's star, Brian Robson, was an alcoholic, affecting both his fitness and performance. If the captain's behavior was like this, you can imagine how the rest were. Ferguson struggled in his first season, finishing 11th, but gradually he fixed the squad's discipline. Players who wouldn't fall in line were shipped out. He rebuilt United from scratch, surpassed the legacy of Matt Busby, and transformed the club from a mid-table side to a global footballing powerhouse. After more than 20 years without a major title, Sir Alex Ferguson turned England red. 13 Premier League titles in its modern form, 2 Champions Leagues, and in total 38 trophies out of the 68 in the club's entire history up to today. But it wasn't just about trophies. Ferguson produced world-class talents and signed historic players like Steve Bruce, Cantona, Roy Keane, Wayne Rooney, Van der Sar, Cristiano Ronaldo, and others. Despite having legends under him, none outshone Sir Alex himself. He became the face of the club, bigger than any manager before or after, because Ferguson was an institution in the form of a man. He succeeded regardless of players, owners, or tools at his disposal. In his 27 years, he built a legacy greater than clubs with over 100 years of history. He turned United into a global brand, attracting billions in sponsorships just to place a logo on the jersey. While Ferguson was building the United empire, the Glazer family started entering the picture. They completed their takeover of the club in the final years of Ferguson's reign. If you're wondering how the downfall started once Ferguson left, well, I've already told you, but let me repeat. Ferguson was the real boss of the club, more powerful than the owners. He ran things his way, and that made him successful. But the Glazers, led by Malcolm Glazer, didn't care about football. They wanted profits. That's it. No projects, no vision, just revenue. In fact, they were smart to buy United. Malcolm already owned the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, an NFL team that generated major income, unlike soccer in the US, so he looked to invest in English football for maximum return. In March 2003, he bought 3% of United's shares for £9 million. By November, he added 12% more, bringing his stake to 15%. By March 2005, he reached 57% ownership via his company Red Football, and then a few months later, he acquired the rest, taking the club private and delisting it from the London Stock Exchange in June 2005. Fans were furious. Why? Because this wasn't a normal investment. It was a leveraged buyout. Malcolm borrowed £790 million to buy the club using the club itself as collateral, which put United £525 million in debt. That was the first major financial crisis for United since 1931. The club has been paying £60 million annually in interest ever since. Even worse? In June 2023, the Glazers voted to allow leveraged buyouts across all English clubs, normalizing what they did to United. This sparked the famous fan protest campaign, Love United, Hate Glazer, launched in 2005, and it continues to this day. After Sir Alex retired in 2013, the club lost its backbone. The structure collapsed. The Glazers, now fully in control, appointed Ed Woodward as executive vice chairman in 2012. Woodward, a former investment banker, had zero football experience. He was only good at one thing, making money. He prioritized marketing over football success, which is why many of the managerial and player signings post-Ferguson were based on commercial value. not football logic. The first mistake? Ferguson personally picked David Moyes to succeed him, simply because he was Scottish. Just like Ferguson and Busby. Fans blindly trusted Ferguson's word, but Moyes' CV had only one trophy, the third division title with Preston. His best achievement at Everton was a fourth-place finish with no major silverware. He started okay, winning the Community Shield, but United's performance quickly declined. They lost at home to Swansea, Sunderland, and crashed out of both domestic cups. In the league, they suffered 7 home defeats, something unthinkable at Old Trafford. Moyes was sacked in April, just before the season ended. United finished 7th, their worst in 23 years. Transfer-wise, it was chaos. Marouane Fellaini signed for €33 million, just because he'd played well under Moyes at Everton. In January, they brought in Juan Mata for €44 million. A panic buy. In total, Moyes spent €77 million and delivered one minor trophy. Disaster. To restore credibility, United appointed Louis van Gaal, a proven name with success at Ajax, Barcelona, and Bayern, and a Champions League win. His first season saw big signing. Angel Di Maria from Real Madrid for €75 million, Ander Herrera for €36 million, Falcao on loan, defensive trio, Luke Shaw, Rojo, and Blind for €75 million combined. The problem? These players often played out of position, and the formations kept changing. Van Gaal's tactics were inconsistent, and player morale dipped. Even Di Maria clashed with him publicly and left for PSG. The second season saw more odd signings. Depay, €34 million, Schneiderlin, €35 million, Schweinsteiger, €9 million, Darmian, €18 million, and the infamous Martial deal worth €60 million with bonuses for winning the Ballon d'Or. Most didn't perform. Only highlight? FA Cup win. Van Gaal was sacked the next day. Up next, Jose Mourinho, the most successful post-Ferguson manager. He arrived with big names. Pogba, €105 million, Bailey, €38 million, Mkhitaryan, €42 million, and a free Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Only Zlatan delivered. Pogba clashed with Mourinho. Bailey was always injured. Still, Jose won the League Cup and Europa League in his first season. Second season saw more spending. Lukaku, €85 million, Matic, €45 million, Lindelof, €35 million. They finished second, but 19 points behind City. By 2018, Mourinho had had enough. After crashing out of the Champions League, he blamed the club's broken structure, poor planning, and said, "You can't expect me to build a team of champions in a few months when the decay has been here for years." Despite finishing second, he was sacked in December 2018. Then came the PR move, appointing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, a club legend. After a strong interim run, he was made permanent. They signed Maguire, €70 million, Wan-Bissaka, €55 million, Bruno Fernandes, €65 million, and the weirdest deal ever, Igalo on loan for €10 million, though his buyout clause was just €5 million. The club spent €237 million with zero return. Eventually, they reached a Europa League final and lost on penalties. Then came the 2021-22 season. Big hopes. Sancho, €85 million, Varane, €40 million, and the homecoming of Cristiano Ronaldo. But disaster followed. Poor performances. Ole was sacked. Ralf Rangnick came in temporarily. Then Erik ten Hag was hired and given €150 million to sign Antony, Martinez, Casemiro, etc. But United started horribly, losing to Brighton, Brentford, and fell to the bottom of the table. Ronaldo went public saying, "The owners don't care. United is run for marketing. Nothing has changed since Sir Alex. Everyone knows it. Some just won't admit it." He left after the World Cup. United won only the League Cup that season, but the Glazers treated it as a success. The club spent €200 million again for the 2024-25 season. Now in 2025, with Amorim, United are near relegation. Antony is on loan, and the Glazers still draining the club dry. United is no longer United. Just the name, not the soul. And no one fears them anymore.